Hello boys and girls, this is my guide to the Frostbites and how to play it in PvE content. Not a lot of people choose this spec because Arcane is better DPS and so is the Fire spec. So I'm just gonna show you the benefits and the not so great DPS I'm gonna be pulling here. First thing I'm gonna show you is my spec. It's basically pretty normal standard for PvE frost mages. One in improved blizzard is very important for packs, and you need to use improved blizzard on every boss fight to stack up winter chill. It stacks up the fastest way. Then I have the improved water elemental just for the replenishment effect. So the basic thing you're gonna be doing, I'm gonna talk about survival abilities, of course. That makes the healer's job easier, so that's fantastic. You also have 2 ice blocks in a short period of time to avoid damage if you don't stand out of the fire fast enough. And here I'm going to talk about the glyphs you're going to be using. 3 major glyphs you're going to have the molten core shield, just to increase your crit rating from your spirit. The next one is going to be the glyph of water elemental, if I remember correctly. It's better than its counterpart that makes your water elemental last forever, but that's the thing. The water elemental is very fragile and will probably die on raid damage and just passive damage coming through. So it's not worth it. It's worth it to use it during hero sim or something big like that. The third one you're gonna be have to using is to increase the damage of your frostbolt by 5% if I'm not sure. Yeah, and then it takes away its slowing effect. But that's the one thing. The slowing effect, you will get that from the frost firebolt because mind freeze will proc Fireball or Frost Firebolt. Of course, you're going to use the Frost Firebolt because it benefits more from your talent tree. So, basically, what you're going to do, there is no exact rotation for Frost Mages. Not really Arcane Mages as well because it's a proc-based class. But for all of this back, this is probably the one that's not the hardest to use, but it probably most gear dependent because I say that because fire needs a lot of crit, arcane needs a lot of mana and a lot of spell power and all that. Mages need and uh, and frost mages really need a lot of haste to make this work. But I'm not perfectly geared for that. I'm gonna group up with a warlock here to give me the Felcard spell power bonus just for some increase in DPS, so you can see that a boring fucking video. And then I'm gonna of course cast on him focus magic. So basically, as you can see here, Finger of Frost just procs. That makes your next 2 abilities feel like make them crit almost always because it will make them think basically the target is frozen. That's why you can use your deep freeze when Finger of Frost is up. Mind freeze and Finger of Frost, yeah, and mind freeze will have the instant frost firebolt, which you're gonna have to keep up because from your talent you will get 12% from torrent of the weak. You'll get 12% more damage when the enemy is snared or slowed, since that's just affects the entire raid, and the effect will still be on the target, so it will affect all the mages who have their talent because everybody has their talent nowadays. So you're gonna be keeping that constantly up, always 12% more damage, not just for some periods of time. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Ghost Strike. A lot of people don't know about this, maybe you do, but have never used it in this context. Basically, Finger of Frost works like this. You get 2 charges. Almost all of them will crit. It's very useful when you proc Finger of Frost when you already have Mind Freeze, because then you can use 1 Frost Bolt, and charge another Frost Bolt, and immediately cast Frost Firebolt, and they will all 3 crit like you had 3 charges. That's called a Ghost Strike. It's very beneficial in that content, yeah, but if you don't have Mind Freeze, and you think, okay, I'm gonna use Ice Lance instead to get the extra 4k or 5k it can crit, but there you're wrong. You're actually decreasing your DPS by doing that. You should only resort to doing that when you are moving. That's the most important part. The second one is Deep Freeze. I'm going to be talking about that. You can also Ghost Strike Deep Freeze. You can cast Frostbolt once, then twice, and immediately after you cast Frostbolt the second time, you can cast Mind Freeze before the Frostbolt hits the target. Both of them will crit because both of them will be consist be like the target was frozen. That's called the ghost strike from the mage class. That's a very important thing you need to remember. There's no exact rotations like I talked about. It's just about managing your cooldown abilities like ice wings and your pet. But you also have cold snap to take off the cooldowns of that. And of course you have a lot of survival abilities since you have the extra shield you have, and you have the ice blocks 2 times in a short period of time, and your pets of course and everything like that. And also you have some neat mana efficiency. Of all the specs, Frost has the biggest mana efficiency. So don't be afraid to spam your abilities to the best of your ability. So it's it's kind of handicapped in DPS. I will admit that. I did do more DPS as Arcane, but you feel more like a part of the group, and now we have an excuse to suck at DPS. So basically, we've gone over it. You're gonna start using Blizzard at the target at first, because that will stock up your Winter Chill. Then you're gonna spam Frostbolt until you get Mind Freeze. Then you're gonna have try to have the dot from Frostfire Bolt on the entire time, so you get extra DPS from the dot. As well, you have the target slowed the entire time. And we learned about the ghost strikes and everything like that. That's kind of the majority of the mates class you need to learn. And if you have any more questions about any of the classes, I'm free to give you any kind of advice. So I'm